In this video, we're breaking down 8 machines that can be used to start a real-world US-based small business, either by selling products at farmers markets and events, or by selling services to local customers and commercial properties. Nothing here is a guarantee of income, and this isn't legal, tax, or financial advice. Think of it as a practical overview of what these machines do, why people pay for the result, and what you should verify before spending money. Local permits, health department rules for food, insurance, sales tax registration, venue requirements, and realistic demand in your area. Also remember that revenue is not profit. Your profit depends on supplies, waste, maintenance, downtime, travel, labor, card processing fees, and how consistently you operate. With that said, let's jump into the 8 machines, starting at number 1. Number 1. A nut butter stone grinder. This is one of the cleanest examples of a machine turning a simple product into something people will pay premium pricing for because it feels fresh, local, and custom. The core idea is simple. You take raw nuts, run them through a stone grinder, and you produce fresh nut butter right in front of customers. In the US, the made in front of me factor matters a lot because it creates trust and curiosity. People stop, watch, ask questions, and then they're far more likely to sample and buy. Where this becomes a real business is not just selling plain peanut butter. It's building a small menu of signature flavors that customers can't easily replicate with a store-bought jar. Think sweet, salty, spicy, seasonal, and local collab flavors that make your booth memorable. Your best sales channel is usually farmers markets, holiday markets, food festivals, and eventually local retail if you decide to scale. But you have to respect the boring realities: allergen management, sanitation, safe sampling, labeling requirements, and whatever your city and state require for food production and sales. If you approach it professionally, clean setup, clear ingredients, consistent texture, attractive packaging, and a repeatable restock plan, this machine can create a loyal weekly customer base because nut butter is a repeat purchase when the quality is noticeably better than what people are used to. Number 2. A rolled ice cream cold plate machine. This one is popular for a reason. It's dessert plus entertainment, and at events, entertainment sells. The machine is essentially a very cold metal plate where you pour a base, mix in toppings, spread it thin, and scrape it into rolls that look great in a cup. Customers love it because it's custom and it's visual. People in line watch every order being made, and that creates the "I want one too" effect. If you want this to work as a US side business, you need to think like an operator, not like a foodie. You're managing speed, cleanliness, power requirements, food safety, and menu simplicity. Throughput is everything, because the difference between a profitable day and a frustrating day is often how many servings you can produce per hour when the line gets long. A tight menu with a handful of proven flavors usually beats a huge menu that slows you down. You'll also want to plan around seasonality and event scheduling. A lot of people underestimate that the real business is building a calendar: markets, fairs, private events, corporate parties, so you're not relying on random foot traffic. And because it's food, you must confirm your local permitting process before you invest heavily, because requirements can vary widely by county and state. Number 3. A gum removal steam machine. This is one of those ideas that sounds unexciting until you realize that boring, unpleasant problems can create dependable service businesses, because somebody has to fix them, and most people won't. Gum builds up anywhere there's foot traffic: shopping centers, sidewalks in front of restaurants, schools, stadiums, parking garages, transit areas, entertainment venues, and downtown corridors. A gum removal machine typically uses heated water or steam and pressure to soften gum and lift it from concrete and other surfaces without damaging the material when used correctly. The business model here is straightforward. You're selling visual improvement and cleanliness to property managers, facility directors, HOAs, and business owners who care about how their location looks and feels. The best version of this business is recurring work because gum comes back, so you can offer monthly, quarterly, or seasonal maintenance and build predictable revenue instead of constantly chasing one-off jobs. The biggest challenge is sales and pricing. You'll need to contact decision makers, show proof with before and after photos, and price in a way that covers travel time, setup time, and the reality that some locations are far dirtier than others. If you do it right, you can position yourself as a specialist that complements regular cleaning crews, because many standard janitorial teams don't want to handle gum removal at scale. Number 4. A rug tufting gun setup, and the real business is workshops. A tufting gun is a handheld tool that pushes yarn through a fabric backing quickly, letting you create custom rugs and textile wall art. But the reason this can become a serious business in many U.S. cities is not because you can sell rugs. Plenty of people can sell handmade products. The opportunity is that you can sell experiences. Workshops are a proven model. Customers pay to come in, choose a design, pick colors, learn the process, and create a piece themselves. That turns your machine into something that earns repeatedly throughout the week, rather than a tool that only earns when you personally produce inventory. In practical terms, your capacity becomes the number of frames and seats you can manage per session, and your success depends on how well you run the experience. Clear instructions, safety rules, clean space, friendly hosting, and a smooth plan for finishing and pickup. The marketing can be strong because participants share their projects on social media, but you still need operational discipline, booking systems, waivers if appropriate, consistent materials, and time built in for cleanup and equipment maintenance. If you enjoy teaching and hosting, tufting workshops can be a strong local business because you're selling a memory and a handmade result, not just a product. Number 5. A hydro dipping tank and spray finishing setup. Hydro dipping, also called hydrographic printing, lets you apply complex patterns to curved objects by floating a printed film on water and transferring it onto the item's surface, then sealing it with a clear protective coat. In the U.S., customization is an evergreen market. People want their items to look unique and premium, whether it's automotive trim, helmets, sports gear, hobby equipment, tool cases, or other personal items. The business value isn't the tank itself, it's the finish quality. The majority of the work is prep, cleaning, sanding, base coating, correct water temperature and technique, and then proper clear coat application and curing. If you master consistency, you can charge well because most customers can't replicate professional results at home. If you don't master consistency, you'll spend your time fixing mistakes, redoing jobs, and dealing with unhappy customers. So this is a process-driven machine business. The operators who win treat it like production. Standard operating procedures, quality checks, ventilation and safety, and clear customer expectations on turnaround time and durability. If you're detail-oriented and you like craftsmanship, hydro dipping can become a niche local service that's difficult for competitors to match without skill and discipline. Number 6. A flower vending machine. This is a very different model because it's less about the machine and more about placement, freshness logistics, and product presentation. The reason flower vending can work is that flowers are an emotional, time-sensitive purchase. Hospital visits, last-minute apologies, birthdays, dates, events, performances, graduations, and travel situations where someone wants to arrive with something thoughtful. A vending machine can capture demand outside normal florist hours, especially in lobbies and high-traffic buildings, if the flowers look fresh and the machine looks premium. In the U.S., your first challenge is usually winning the location, negotiating with a hospital, hotel, venue, or property manager about rent or revenue share, access hours for restocking, liability concerns, and whether the placement makes sense for their audience. Your second challenge is operations, keeping bouquets fresh, rotating inventory, minimizing waste, maintaining temperature and humidity control if your machine supports it, and ensuring payments work smoothly. People often think vending equals passive income, but in reality, the best vending operators are disciplined logistics managers. If you can secure a strong location and run the operational side tightly, flower vending can be a steady retail channel that sells even when you're not physically standing there. Number 7, a freeze dryer. Freeze drying can turn familiar foods into premium, shelf-stable products with a distinct texture, and that novelty factor sells, especially when customers can sample it at a market. The machine removes moisture in a way that changes the eating experience, and people often pay for the new version of something they already recognize. In the U.S., this can support a farmer's market product line, local wholesale to small shops, and sometimes online sales. But you have to start with compliance, cottage food rules versus commercial kitchen requirements, labeling rules, ingredient lists, allergen statements, and whatever your state and county require for production and packaging. The business isn't owning the machine. The business is product selection, consistency, packaging that feels trustworthy, and production planning. You need to know what your best sellers are, how long a batch takes, how you'll package efficiently, and how you'll avoid the classic beginner problem, demand spikes and you can't fulfill orders. Or you overproduce flavors that don't move, and you tie up cash in inventory. The winners in this space usually keep the menu focused, build a recognizable brand, and let sampling and repeat customers drive growth instead of trying to be everything to everyone. Number 8, a laser cleaning machine, mobile service model. Laser cleaning sits at the top end of machine businesses, because it can support higher-priced jobs if you position it as a specialized service and operate like a professional. The core value proposition is surface preparation and restoration, removing rust, coatings, and buildup on certain materials with precision. In the U.S., the most common business model is mobile service, bringing the equipment to clients who already spend serious money on sanding, grinding, chemical stripping, or labor-intensive cleaning. Think restoration shops, fabrication businesses, maintenance operations, and niche cleaning needs where time savings and finish quality matter. But this is not a casual purchase. Safety procedures, protective equipment, correct operating practices, and understanding the limitations on different materials are essential. The way to approach this responsibly is to validate demand before you invest. Talk to potential customers, ask what they currently spend in labor and consumables, ask what problems they can't solve efficiently, and see if they'd pay for a cleaner or faster option. If you can line up even a small set of recurring or high-value jobs and deliver consistent results, this type of machine can become the foundation of a premium local service business rather than a low-ticket commodity hustle. To wrap it up, here's the framework that matters more than any list. The machine is leverage, but distribution is the business. If you're selling at events, you need foot traffic, a product that demos well, a setup that looks clean and credible, and a schedule of markets and festivals that keeps you selling consistently. If you're selling services, you need decision makers, proof of results, clear pricing, and recurring contracts, so you're not constantly restarting from zero each month. In the U.S., a common mistake is buying equipment first and hoping customers show up later. The smarter path is validating demand first. Call 10 potential buyers, visit local markets, talk to vendors and managers, confirm permits and insurance, run the numbers with conservative assumptions. Then buy the machine as the tool that scales what you already know can sell. If you want, tell me which one of these 8 you're most interested in and your state, and I can help you outline a simple validation plan, basic startup checklist, and a pricing model you can test before you spend serious money.